Al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rafael Chasinas, known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Combat Club, because it's been a while, ladies and gentlemen, and guess what? It is fight day! Because we're going to bring the thunder and lightning on UFC 324 in Las Vegas. The first time in Paramount Plus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you about this place. We made it. We made it. We fucking made it. And I just wanted to tell you, it's been a while because 6 weeks with no UFC, with no like anything. I mean, that's a lot of pain to digest. But here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. And of course, you can follow me on different social media.
Mucho gusto.
On Twitter, as known as at Capitán Rafucho. On Instagram, Kick, and TikTok at Capitán Rafucho 93. And of course, if you want to help and support this platform, you can make a donation by Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. All financial help is welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you because it is the perfect time. Because either right now, Bruce Buffer,
It's time!
finally it's time for the UFC 324, ladies and gentlemen, in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I'm going to bring some predictions because I know this is going to be the first episode of this year along because next week we're going to bring the Thunder and Lightning along with my co-host, Sion Senate. So make sure to subscribe to my brother, my co-host, Sion Senate, with all these incredible stars in the Combat Club because we're going to bring the inside of the previews and the reviews about for the world of combat sports, whatever the mixed martial arts, boxing, wrestling, all during for the week, film study of Rockies and veterans. Interview on the Street is a show with 100% extreme attitude because in this club we're born to fight anywhere, anytime, anyone. So don't be a pussy. Feel like a man. Fight like a real man. Just fight it on, man. Just fight it on. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, right now we got the car. Yep, look at the car right here because first and foremost, they got the preliminaries and of course the car because it's gonna be like a huge thing. So right now we're gonna predict the main car, which is gonna be so much interesting right now. All right, so first and foremost, got Arnold Allen versus John Silva. Now, this one, I'm going to break it down because what essentially comes to Arnold Allen versatility versus Silva counting punching, it's just like in and out movement. If Allen reads too much with those strikes, probably he's going to lose this fight. Because Silva is very hittable on the feet, Allen's going to be a victim to the whole counter itself. I mean, he's awesome getting out of the weight of the time to return fight quickly. This one is going to be phenomenal striking of fame. When it comes to wrestling, grappling, I don't think it's going to be so much wrestling grappling here because I'll be really stunned if that was the case. Because that fight has been haunted all week for all these fans. But when it comes to breaking it down, there are so many pieces to that puzzle, and the people want to see what happens. It's gonna be like an insane fight. Great matchmaking, by the way. So I just wanted to predict it. John Silva knockout round number 2 or round number 1. Because to be honest, right now, Silva's coming up for a tough KO loss against Diego Lopez. And it kind of changed the career trajectory. So he removed like a little bit of doubt surrounding him. And you guys don't know about, but I don't see him like the bigger the threat has been used to be since that knockout. Now, there are a few things that really concern about that fight against Al. First, Silva defense is basically entirely for the on for these footwork. He can bounce in and out the strengthening freely. It stands one to the hands, somewhat low. That's not what other great facing against like a slight bench against you. Someone who's excellent at finding that range, that time really quickly. Now for Allen, he's coming off with a brilliant fight against Chika Chitsu, which he looked like a little messy and wild at the times. He was pouring that pressure and eventually he landed for a much needed strikes to win him that session. Now, there's a concerns that I have for Allen because his defense is a little warm at times. Tough, taking a lot of punishment, but also taking a risk, a lot of damage. Just to walk forward and after his attacks. His race guard, he's gonna be like an absolutely important at this fight as John Silva is quick at his hands, wasted a little time to trying to find a finish. So probably it's gonna happen. Probably not. Because I just wanted to expect, but at least show the fans that probably Silva is gonna be like a dangerous fighter to deal with. Now, if Allen needs to fight to be calm and clean, is gonna be rest and going into quicker adjust his opponent's time the strength. So that'll be like two more fighters and trade strikes at a lukewarm pace. It's gonna be happen. It's gonna be happen a lot of the times, but can we expect it to John Silva's comeback? Because I believe so. I believe so. I believe so. Right, so next up, we got for the women's flyweight, Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Now, this one is going to be really interesting because that'll change the women's mixed martial arts all around for the history. Because for striking, Silva perhaps had the speech is here, and she's like more versatile with her kicks. Namajunas when it comes to straight up boxing. I think she falls behind Namajunas as a little bit of Namajunas is a lot more technical than that. However, I just think that Silva is going to handle the stats when it comes to sheer volume. You gotta be careful. When it comes to wrestling and grappling, Namajunas grappling is on the menu for that weekend. As she does have decent Brazilian jiu-jitsu and wrestling, we don't know if she's gonna catch Silva to throw out here on the fence or for long enough or to take time for a takedown going. And I'm feeling like really sorry to Namajunas, but at this point, oh, that's been the moments of the career where she looked like a war beater. But that momentum drops on insanely quickly due to the terrible performance on the cage. And now we have a downgraded version of I'm the best Namajunas. But man, Silva has been deteriorated recently, not having lost a fight since 2017. And then she lost against Marina Rodriguez with a fair, acceptable loss. But you might notice about Silva, and that's the speed of the strikes. She's very quick. She's throwing offense. Well, you can see, talking about her Taekwondo background, it's not really extensive. It just essentially means that she has the benefits to throw kicks and punches, and because of that, it's paired with a lot to see collateral movement and evasive footwork as she tries to stay at the kicking range. Because will she look very comfortable to throwing punches? I mean, that could happen. That could happen. But Mahomes is like a little shell of herself, and he's been too hard to gauge how she gonna fight until she fights. So given that Silva had flawless performance of her career so far, but I think that she have more chance to win that fight at adrenal damage and safety and speed and numbers and stats. Believe so. But Namajunas is coming off with a somewhat decent against Baron the Maverick. But he was having a forgettable performance because nothing in the performance, nothing of importance happened during for that fight. There was no like heel that would stick it to memories, but because it was like a minimum volley. Slow paced fight led to Mahomes having the hands rise, but I got Silva winning. I got Silva winning because it doesn't change like a promising up and comer. She's proving herself against reasonably good competition. And I hope she's gonna play it out. So give me Natalia Silva by the session. Wait, that's not the correct sound, huh? That's the correct sound because I know the soundboard might be crazy a little bit, but all right. So I just wanted to tell you. All right. So next up, we got one for the club. We got the favorite for the fans because y'all want to see like a true heavyweight fight. Well, guess what? You guys want it. You guys want it. You want a heavyweight fight. You want a heavyweight fight. You want a heavyweight fight. So check this out because the fight, heavyweight fight is gonna be tremendously. It is gonna be Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. It is, sir. It is. Because right now, Waldo Cortez Acosta is ranking number 6 on the heavyweight, while Derek Lewis, the popular guy with his balls on fire, is ranked number 8 at the heavyweight division. Now, for the striking, Waldo Cortez Acosta has more strikes. It is a human. And perhaps more speed, but in terms of sheer power, it's very hard to match Lewis. So they gotta go like Lewis the respect that he deserves. He's gonna be winner of the fight with one clear punch. At the age of 40, Derek Lewis is still dangerous. He's still dangerous as a motherfucker. Will Cortez Acosta has very enough experience with power punches in that division. To know what to avoid with the game to strike, should he cleanly win that is fight through points, just being like the abuser fight. When it comes to wrestling and grappling, no. When it comes to wrestling and grappling, do we want to see Derek Lewis and Waldo Cortez Acosta fighting each other with a wrestling movement? No. And I'm very sorry about that, guys. Very sorry, but it's not gonna happen. Nope. Oh man. I gotta tell her about this right now. And well, look at this. Acosta is coming back to back knockout wins over Dilja and Gabu. I mean, those are fine finishes, but also there's heavyweight. But I don't really think that two names are by many ins huge wins. Now, the main thing about Waldo Cortez Acosta is about like he's a little bit more fluid striker than Lewis. He's more fundamentally sound at a stand to striking than Lewis, who was very much just like a Swan and Bangmaster. I think that fight is going very dangerous because any fight with Derek Lewis is hazardous for anyone's health. They're going to put a sticker on it that says, hey, hazardous alert. But speaking about Derek Lewis, is a very unique. And I don't mean that style is very unique, but if him to be finished, those big dudes has been finished them. His age, his standard strangling is still silly, but it's just trying to remind it to us that all the power absolute in MMA, if you can land the bigger punch first, then you basically win the fight. And I was just like, man, I was getting really enough of this run. But to be honest, right now, it feels like it should be like a truth itself, but it's always had a bad idea. Yep, the better idea that I just wanted to tell. He used to the fighting heavy haters. It's like a solid chin, and there was a speed, athleticism. I mean, there is nothing can stop the Black Beast except for one person, Waldo Cortez Acosta, because he's more than smarter than this, more than anything smarter right more than this right now. So I'm gonna predict Waldo Cortez Acosta knockout round number one. But I gotta tell you, Waldo Cortez Acosta, he always smart, very quick on the feet, and of course, he always hunger for the power and always represent for the Latino community because he's Dominican. Dominican. Yes, that's it. All right. The next stop we got for the co-main event evening because it's always happening about like the true self for the UFC fans. Right now, let's check them out with the co-main event between Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Show, versus Yadong Sun for the bantamweight because Sean O'Malley is ranking at the number 3 and Sun Yadong is ranking number 6. For the striking, I think Sean O'Malley should be like his classic self, his vantage version of himself. I mean, she should like be able to glide off with the sun attacks and counter infinitely with the strat right. It is Rand Banish is going to absolutely prove that he wants to be like a great asset in that fight. I mean, Sun is a fine striker for all the means, but that wrench that's Banish is the worst enemy on this fight. And I just think that he's like it all bit that over have and I'm calmer. But between for the wrestling and grappling, it's one of those fights which maybe there's like much like the grappling. That's one of those things that Kazman Chiame will be jealous to win this. Because there's also not much like it to be like a striking about. And I wonder if Sun is gonna have to try eye poke on my look here, but sure there's gonna be like an accidental eye poke, but I don't think it's gonna happen at all. Because it seems like Sean O'Malley last two losses has been against Marab Devashvili, who at the time was absolutely stomping it off of the competition, and O'Malley couldn't really much do about it. Now, there's like a huge advantage that O'Malley has around the fight, his ability to strike at long ranges. Yep. It's gonna happen for the long ranges coming up there because in which striker to save enough of the Sean that can responsibility. I mean, this is essentially how the fight is gonna play out. Just like a long snapping strike from over and over. And once start this with over like the jealous, there's gonna be like a lot of the scene. It's like Son goes from the takedowns to the which always on the menu. But between for Song Yadong without the eye pokes. It's a really good fight because it's showing the solid striking, especially with he combines the rep. So that attacks for the combative angles, and that's going to be like really important to dealing with such a strong counter puncher like O'Malley. Which most important that Son that he needs to use to finds the best counter puncher is luring out is O'Malley guard down, but he tried to set them all because if everything Son you don't, it's rather the few finds behind you this frankly will completely nullify it. So give me Sean O'Malley round three decision. So that could be anything. That could be anything at all. So I know y'all thinking. I know you're thinking everything that happens. So between for the like the co-main event, be like really expected at all. Because if anyone can be like ready for the war limit, they got O'Malley winning that one. But I would be like none of the surprise if he wants to win by knockout, but it's likely going to be like a decision win by O'Malley's counter to be like a major contributor for the success. Probably it could have happened at all. Probably could have happened at all because that should be like really enough. I mean, that should be like something, everything. And we got Robert Raw to say, my guy Raphael. Also, we got Mitch Koski. Salute to you. Salute to you. And also, I just wanted to tell you, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me at different social media. Twitter, as no one says, at Capitán Rafucho. On Instagram, Kick and TikTok at Capitán Rafucho 93. And guess what? Because right now, I'm just going to show up the main card and, of course, the preliminaries because this boy, Capitán Rafucho, is going to bring the thunder and lightning because we're getting back. We're getting back for the UFC 324 main card watch party and reactions at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So be ready, y'all. Be ready for these amazing fights. And speaking about those fights, because right now, I just wanted to tell you, this one is going to blow up your mind because right now, Bruce Buffer.
It's time!
We got the main event coming up there between for the lightweight interim championship bout between Justin Gage versus Patty Pimblett, as known as Patty the Body. Now, for striking, Gage is likely more dangerous striking in this fight. But I do acknowledge that Pimblett's boxing has very improved for the over for few fouls, but I don't think that he's improved to that point that he can go for toe against Gage comfortably. Can he get a knockout? Can he get a submission? I don't know, but I think he's going to win. But for the wrestling and grappling, I just wanted to tell you Gage versus Patty submissions is the primary story coming up there. It's just like the primary story because is Gage is gonna be ready for the neck attacks and Patty? Can Patty get Gage to the ground light enough for the setup for the submission? I don't really think so because to be thinking like the submission is gonna be like a stand for Gage getting rocked, dropped, or hurt because they might be like a disturbed prediction, but they've been done a lot of things worse. A lot of the things worse because Gage is coming out for a solid fight against Rafael Fieser. And that's a tough customer to fight because Pizza has more experience with the striker than anyone that can get on division. Now, it should be like to everyone to say, but it's gonna be like a firm believer that anyone that has a puncher's change. Now, for Gage, is anyone that had the ability to make this fight and really create an outright violent is Gage. It creates like an environment of chaos. Chaos. Now, if he wants to bring that fight if he wants to bring that fight, he tries to devour in the chaos. He wants to walk through a fire. He's come down with a little bit with his crazy strength and his turn over the chaos and control him with himself. I mean, that should be really enough. But I think that Patty Pimblett is someone who has a serious issue. They were able to say whatever the fires and the write-ups. I don't quite trust it'll be that good because a lot of the wins when it comes to a few asterisks that Jerry Gordon has always scored to the recent wins against King Green, Tony Ferguson, and even Michael Chandler. Yep. Now, Patty wins are not really impressed. I'm gonna be like a really gel, but a lot of saying that. But now, if you can say it about Patty, he has really improved strengthening. His boxing looks like more cleaner, more confident. His ability to pressure on his opponents on the feet. There's a lot of more. The defense is some compared to Patty a few years ago. I mean, either way, if both Cage and Patty is changed strikers, I just think that Gage is coming out for the top but with Patty improvements for the strengthening, I mean, like there's like a more intrigue. Yeah, more intrigue about for that fight. And I was like getting really enough because I think it's gonna be more to eye for this fight. So I think it's gonna be like a really generally stupid, but give me Justin Gage, round number 3, knockout. Yep, because I just wanted to tell you about this, folks. I just wanted to tell you because right now it feels like very, very sure, but I don't think that Patty Pimblett has the opportunity to win so much easier than Justin Gage. I mean, how can I tell it about this, folks? It's not gonna really happen. Not gonna really happen for a lot of million of years. So probably is gonna be really forgetting about this right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, after that, I break down those fights and the main card of the UFC 324. There's gonna be so much interesting right now. Really interesting because y'all thinking, I know y'all thinking this might be like one of the greatest ones, but also it is the first time to see Paramount Plus. So there will be no pay-per-view events of the UFC. There's gonna be number of events, just like the Premier Live events of the UFC on Paramount Plus for the first time ever in 2026. Because after all these years on ESPN Plus, now UFC has a new home, which is Paramount Plus, including some of these events on Fight Night on CBS, on Paramount Plus, and of course some of like random channels on Paramount. So expected what it expected right now. Yep. And of course, we got for anything that happens right now. So right now we got the fight card coming up there for the early preliminary card on Paramount Plus and UFC Fight Pass. They have for the lightweight Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Also for the heavyweight Josh Hockett, my boy, versus Denzel Freeman. For welterweight Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. For the preliminary card on Paramount Plus, Omar Nogredun versus Demison Figueredo. Ateba Gautier versus Andre Pulave. Nikita Krylov versus Modesta Buscascas. Also one of my boys. Alice Perez versus Charles Johnson. And for the main card, Arnold Allen versus John Silva for the featherweight. Natalia Silva versus Rosana Majunas for the women's flyweight. For the heavyweight, Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. For the bantamweight, Sean O'Malley versus Sean Yadon. And for the lightweight, Justin Gage versus Patty Pimblett. And also, to be honest, right now, to be like really, really, really honest, because they're supposed to the co-main event between Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunez. But however, Harrison withdrew for about the being diagnosed with a hernia disc on the neck, which requires surgery. So speedy recovery. I just wanted to tell you, but this one is gonna be so much interesting right now. And I apologize for the technical issues that I just got it right now, but we're just getting back with all these podcasts and the bands coming very hot in 2026. Now, I just wanted to make like it clear, just like a critic, just like a critic of that event, because I know y'all thinking because it's it makes me repulsive right now. It just make like really, really repulsive right now because over that night, last night and Friday, they got the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst car ever in the history of the combat sports. Because to be honest, right now, I didn't have much time to watch that fight because it looks like very sloppy. It looks like very, well, I don't know, something that the people with the social media influencers like. Also, there was like a people who loved it, like the Gunners and the Simpers. Gunners and Simpers. But well, that car right here is there you go right now. So last night it happens between Adam 22 versus Jason Loof. Also, they got social media influencers. They had so wannabe boxers. But to be honest, right now, that car that just like really disastrous. And who in the fuck that just wanted to promote that fight along with Aiden Ross? Like Aiden Ross, come on, man. I mean, he was the only one who did sucking Drake all the way long. Just to be honest right now. And look at this right now. Look at this right now. Because I know it's gonna be like it has so much credit. But that fight was purely trash between Adam 22 versus Jason Love. That was absolutely trash. Basura, just like in Spanish. Basura, trash, garbage, rubbish. I mean, I got it all because who wants to watch? Who wants to watch that fight between Adam 22 versus Jason Love? Only the Gunners and Simpers are gonna love for that fight because for us, the boys, the real boys, because we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this magnificent masterpiece between five fights on the main card, also the preliminaries, because that's what the boys are really like. The real boys were real testosterone, not that messy, not that simpy Gunner fight with estrogen boys. That's what I tell you about this right now. Because who wants to watch between Adam 22 versus Jason Love? I mean, those guys are really Gunner, Simp, and of course, both guys are. And I say what I said. I say what I said it right now. And to be honest, right now, between for the poster, because, and I apologize for all the female audience who watched that podcast between the Combat Club because Lena, and I'm very sorry. Lena, she's a bitch. She belongs to the street. All right. And I don't know why that guy, Adam 22, she was married with a woman who has been spent a lot of years in the adult film industry, banging out with each other. I mean, that looks very yuck. I know the adult film is very booming in this business right now, but it seems like very sloppy and very controversial. But it's just like only for Gunners and Simpers that really like that. And no, I don't want her to see that. But I understand that Lena, she's a whore, she's a prostitute, she worked in the adult film industry. She was married, that I'm 22, who always complaining and bitching and mowing and snitching and simping all day, all night long with no jumping. But guess what? That fight between Adam 22 versus Jason Love deserves to the shame, deserves to the Hall of Shame right now because this is Hall of Fame. This is Hall of Fame performance. This right here is Hall of Shame, y'all. Hall of Shame. I mean, come on, man. That belongs to the Hall of Shame pedestal. This right here, for the UFC 324, it belongs to the Hall of Fame. To be honest, for the boys, for the boy who have real testosterone, because real man with estrogen gotta watch this, but real man with real testosterone watch this because it feels like very bad. And I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to be political because I understand that Adam 22 is the creator of No Jumper podcast, the coolest podcast in the world. We all know about that. And Diamond 22 is interviewing with gooners, simpers, also social media influencers that will like the slap chat at him. Also, there's trap rappers, there's SoundCloud rappers, all kinds of stuff. And there's always bitching and mowing and snitching and simping all day, all night long. So sorry, Island 22, to burn you out, but you're just like a gooner, a simper, a trash rapper, a snitch. That's what I tell you, a snitch. But you know what? I mean, there's one popular phrase that you can never, never erase from your mind. Snitches got stitches. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Oh man, what can I tell you about this, folks? I'm on fire right now. I'm on fire. Oh man, what can I tell you about this right now? But between Jason Love and Adam 22, repeat after me, right? Yeah, both guys are. Yeah, both guys are really gay. They're really gay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, before I drop top right now, because I know y'all thinking, because tonight is gonna be an interesting night, because right now we the fight of the year that you always waiting for, the main card of the UFC 324 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And yes, that is gonna happen right now. And to be honest, right now, between for the month of January, they have back-to-back events. Yep. The next Saturday, they have back-to-back events coming up there because not only they have UFC 325 between Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, number two, Sydney, Australia, but also they have a boxing match that everyone has been waiting for in New York City in the Madison Square Garden because this one is going to be really interesting right now. And it's going to happen between, well, Teofimo versus Shakur. Teofimo versus Shakur at the Madison Square Garden. And of course, that same day for the next Saturday, yeah, for the next Saturday, they had the Royal Rumble for the first time in Saudi Arabia. So people are gonna be really expected, well, for the action pack and combat sports for the next Saturday because they have in boxing. Teofilo versus Shakur, UFC 325 between Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, and for the wrestling fans, monumental Royal Rumble for the first time in Saudi Arabia. So right now, I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys for joining at this episode of the Comeback Club because tonight we're gonna bring the thunder and lightning of the UFC 320 roar. 324 between Justin Gage versus Patty the Pimblet. I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys, and of course, make sure to subscribe
Mucho
to Capitán Rafucho
gusto.
on YouTube. And of course, you can follow me on different social media. Twitter is known as at Capitán Rafucho. On Instagram, Kick and TikTok at Capitán Rafucho 93. And of course, if you want to help and support the stream, this platform, you can make a donation by Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. All financial help is welcome. And I just wanted to tell you, get ready for the biggest event ever the whole life. And all y'all Gunners and Sims, they have their own night of combat sports. But right now, it is the turn of the boys. The turn of the boys, ladies and gentlemen, because now is UFC 2024 between Justin Gage versus Patty Pimblet, as known as Patty the Body Pimblet. Oh man, I could have told the way this right now. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys right now. And of course, in the lovely words of Gustavo Cerati,
Gracias totales.
thank you guys. And of course, this has been another episode of the Comic Club. Right now, started in 2026 with a bang. It's a podcast with 100% stream attitude because in this club, we're born to fight. Anytime, anywhere, anyone. So thank you very much. I hope to see you there. Well, probably this afternoon because I'm gonna bring New York Knicks versus Philadelphia Sixers at the NBA, and then I'm gonna bring the UFC 324 at 9 p.m. So thank you very much. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.